gentlemen, good afternoon. I decided to add some humanitarian psychological stuff to this hard fintech environment, so thank you for your interest and attention to psychological aspects of crowdfunding in fintech projects. So, let me get immediately to the point. Crowdfunding is the typical issue of startups. But why crowd? Not public funding, not people's funding, not personal funding. Is it coincidence? Of course not. Crowd, because if to know the laws of crowd existence, knowing the laws of crowd existence and dynamics, one can manage a successful crowdfunding campaign. In order to be prepared for such successful campaign, I suggest to look through a few of psychological laws of the crowd. First of all, psychological attributes of a crowd. First, unconsciousness, impulsivity. Here, the crowd can be compared to an animal with strong and simple reactions to strong and simple impulses or stimuli. Sensitivity and sensuality. Here we can compare the crowd to a small girl playing with a kitten. Very open, very naive, very sensitive to any kind of informational or emotional input. Crowd also is very powerful in terms of imagination up to hallucinations. Crowd needs strong images, needs strong objects to follow. So if there are no such objects around, crowd will create them. Absence of discourse and reasoning. Just good or bad, that's it. No analysis, no detailed analysis. Crowd doesn't like analysis. Good or bad. If good is followed, bad rejected. Accepting or not accepting idea as a whole is another feature of the crowd. So either idea good or bad, that's it. No deep analysis, no details. As I've said, crowd doesn't like details. Suggestibility. Crowd is very well the crowd is the object for suggestion, the object for group hypnosis. It's an open secret and it's hardly used during different politician campaigns. Irresponsibility. Everybody, I mean all of us are trying to be responsible, but we feel more comfortable being irresponsible, and crowd gives this privilege to its members. And changeability. The crowd is really changeable and so quickly changeable that very often is not predictable. A few words about psychological laws of crowd life cycle. Circular reaction. It's enough to have one person, even one person, or at least a few persons in a crowd with strong emotional condition in order to infect others. That's the first stage of crowd dynamics. The second, common emotional conditions and object of attention. If we have the certain emotional condition, we need as a crowd a certain object of attention. Usually it's event, or a person, or a word, a comment, whatever. Readiness to react and act immediately. It's another third stage of crowd dynamics. Person usually spends a lot of time for analyzing, preparing for actions. Crowd doesn't. Then the fourth stage, genesis of new object of attention. For crowd, it's very natural not to drag attention to one object. It needs new impressions, new emotions, new actions. That's why even if there are no such new objects around, crowd will create one or even several objects based upon the existing event or existing object through interpretation. And after that, activation, usually by a leader. So why people bring their money to the project in which they usually are not really sure? First reason, they connect to greater purpose. One of our basic psychological needs is to be a part of something big, a part of community, a part of something considerable. So people pay money to become a part of something huge, great, considerable, or important. Second reason, connection to a real physical aspect of campaign. It could be incentive, it could be award, it can be gain from investment. Also, people play for entertainment. So if I like the image of the product, if I like the video, if I like the picture, I'm likely to pay for it. Usually people want to see and use new products before the public. Just one example, iPhones and these long lines before the first sale of iPhone. People are ready to pay huge amounts of money to be first, to be ahead of others. Crowd behavior is heavily influenced by the loss of responsibility. As I've said, people are ready to pay for losing responsibility. We feel more comfortable not being responsible. So if I can buy this comfort, I will buy it. Now coming to the recommendations, what to do in order to create and perform a good crowdfunding campaign. First, of course, the crucial prerequisite is the use of open call. If I need to collect money, I should provide an open, really wide, open call to the big auditorium. The second, minimizing perceived risks. There are two models of fulfilling this demand, Aeon model and breakdown of spending. Aeon model, all or nothing, means if we collect less money than we planned for the soft cap, we return money to funders. That works perfectly well. And breakdown of spending builds additional trust to the project if we describe, if we announce our intentions to spend money. Always securing mutual benefit. I would say always promising and following these promises, because securing mutual benefit is one of the most important things in crowdfunding. Simplifying the process of contribution. It's like one click and you are here, 2 steps and you are here, something like this. If we don't do this, we lose lazy funders. Communicating charisma and reputation. It's about personal features of those who are taking care of the projects. It's very important to show the human face of the project to the public. And public is more likely to give money to people than to a project. So if we have in our team some people with great background, serious professional achievements, or regalia, we should communicate them actively. Activating reciprocity. Very simple. If I am asking for money and I count on somebody sharing his or her money with me, I should demonstrate my ability and desire to share my money. So in the reality, it looks like if I collect money in crowdfunding campaign, I try to support other similar projects with my contribution. Intensive crowd marketing. It's not only about supporting discussions, supporting comments, answering questions in media. It's also about creating these discussions, modeling and manipulating with existing discussion participants. Stimulating self-awareness. Just one example, if I ask for money, I should do it looking to your eyes. It's very important in production of advertising materials and promo materials of fundraising campaign. Amplifying feeling of guilt. Very interesting and tricky point. People don't feel good if they are choosing hedonic products instead of contribution to something great and big. For example, we can compare the contribution, the smallest contribution, to, say, a bar of chocolate or smoking 1 cigarette. So our contribution is like smoking 1 cigarette. Our contribution is like buying 1 piece of soap. Usually, feeling this guilt, people prefer to redirect money from hedonic objects to something more considerable. Using NLP elements in communication, of course, it's very important and should be done very careful. I will not stop on this point because it's a separate presentation. But it works very well, especially comments, mindsets, attention control, and manipulation. Involving early funders, it's not only about money. It's first of all about good examples to be followed. If people see that somebody already did something, they are more likely to follow these examples. Managing rumors also means not only managing existing rumors, but also creating rumors, creating models rumors, creating contradictive rumors, and solving the problems inside these rumors. Creating pseudo-panic situations and leading funders through the necessary way out. It's like on a stock and speculation. That's a simple example. Sharing the result, not necessarily only profit. Yes, it's very important because people are paying for getting something back. Not necessarily money, feeling, condition, image, solution, whatever. But we should take care of naming these things and providing the approach of them. Simplifying the target audience. You know, in classic marketing, it's always was necessary to specify target audiences, to make them as narrow as possible. It doesn't work here. Here we should make our target audience as much wide as possible. Creating great visualization. It's an open secret that the major channel of communication for the most people on the earth is visual channel. So we should take care of special images, great and strong symbols, and strong videos. I would like to mention in the conclusion that this approach was used already in 2 campaigns. First campaign is a charity campaign, DCP Help International Project, and now is being used in Daterios crypto bank preparation for pre-ICO. And I thank these nice guys for insight, as well as thank you for your attention and time. Thank you.